Welcome to the Good Life. Benny, good morning.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy, darling. It's the farewell show.
Well, okay, so we should probably let our listeners know. I was actually teasing it at the traffic situation, but I'll let you have the podium.
Well, thank you, darling. Yeah, it's been over 15 years. There was a little bit of a break in between, and it happens. And it's been an absolutely incredible journey through this whole radio experience, authorship, all this stuff, right? That, and it's a new chapter in my life. And it dawned on me, Benny, I like to say I'll be 45 next month with dyslexia, but I'm actually I can't say that anymore because I'll be 55.
I think that's great.
I'm like shiitake mushrooms. All right, 55, new life, new beginning, rebuilding, restructuring, right?
Yeah, but you have to understand age nowadays it's just a number. Like there's no 40. Attachment to it really like there was.
Right? It isn't. But it's been an incredible, I was sitting here, and to the audience, this is my last show. It's been, over 15 years, give or take, whatever. And I was sitting reminiscing about everything that has happened, not only in my life, but people in my surrounding, but you as well. I mean, you've had your sons, I've had my 3 daughters. There's been graduations. I mean, a mom, an auntie, a great aunt. There's just been so much. I mean, there's been some incredible things like that, but there's
many
also
milestones. Yes,
massive milestones. I unfortunately have lost all of my parents in the last few years, both my biological and my adopted, which has been, I'm still mourning my mom, which is, I think, I think it's mourning everybody, it comes in waves, right? And it's just, there's so many things that we can choose to be a victimhood of, or we can transmute that pain, trauma, joy, sadness, all that. And maybe not so much joy in the trauma, but you can choose to have a mindset that's not going to be victimhood. It's planting the seeds to making changes and evolving. And that's what we're doing today too. And, Benny, I was thinking back when I first originally came into the KKNW studios and chat with women.
Oh yeah, Pam and Rochelle.
Yes, and the studio was flipped. You hadn't done the remodel yet.
Yeah, it was the traditional. It was just reversed around when they first built the studios. Yeah, it was a kidney bean shaped desk that kind of went around a different, because we were a music station in the beginning. It was KSRB, and actually I think it was a news station even before that. But then it was KSRB, which is an R&B station, and then it flipped over to the alternative talk. But yes, our furniture was different.
Everything. And I had come in and the chat with women ladies, and it was Marie Manuscieri. She was in studio too.
Oh yeah.
And I was so scared, so nervous. I'm like, oh, and Pam and Rochelle were like, you want to say anything? I'm like, no, I'm scared.
You're gonna have to eventually. Yeah.
I know. And look at this, 15 years later, I've had my own show, produced my own show, been doing this for umpteen years now, and have been incredibly blessed, not only with you as well, but also look at the guests and the people that we've been blessed to have on the show. I mean, I've thought about that, and I was thinking about kind of Shirley MacLaine was one of the big ones. That was years ago. Shirley MacLaine was on my radio show. I'm just like, wow. It was just super cool to really dive in and have that conversation with her. I mean, she was one of the leading edge spiritual, she was talking with Johnny Carson back in the day about spirituality and cards and mysticism. And Johnny Carson was like, what? Looking at her like she was crazy. Yeah. And then here we go. And when I first started the radio show, I was still quite in the closet, not really knowing how to speak my truth and understanding myself. And it has completely done a 360. Spirituality, energy, mediumship, evidential mediumship, affirmations. I mean, the Louise Hayeses of the world, wish I would have gotten to interview her. Another one would have been Abraham and Esther and Jerry Hicks. That would have been cool.
Yep.
Very cool. But there's been so many full circle moments for me. When I read Ainsley McLeod, do you remember Ainsley McLeod?
Oh, yeah.
And he's been on Oprah. He's been on my show a couple times, and it was super, super cool to read his books and then to actually have him on the show. And he's just a beautiful human. I mean, it's just incredible. And I'm talking, there's big names too, and I was blessed with Dr. Joe Dispenza and able to spend 3 years with him and his team volunteering. I got to travel the world helping people heal. We broke world records. I mean, it's just been life-changing, and all the people that I was able to reach out and touch. And, I thought about it and I thought, more so than anything, I learned from them. And I've learned so much within the radio network and the show. And I was thinking about what was the biggest lesson. And it was my biggest fear, because I followed my intuition. I followed the guidance and faith. And I was, an author at that time, and Source said, well, guess what? You're going to have your own radio show, your own radio network, not just show. You're going to have the network. Do you remember the I'm Thankful Network?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. You brought in some amazing other hosts. Oh, Debbie Whitlock.
Oh, Debbie.
Oh, yeah, she's actually out in Black Diamond now. She's part of the, I guess I would say, political scene out there.
Is she?
She's doing very well.
Shout out to Miss Debbie.
She had 2 shows. It was Femme Finance, and what was the other one? She had 2. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. I should have this.
And that was the other gal. She moved to Hawaii. The other coach. They had the show together. The blonde gal.
I'd have to look it up.
I know.
We've had so many here.
So many.
I know.
Yeah. And to be able to promote, inspire, and educate. And let me go back to what I was originally talking about with the, Source saying you're having a radio show, a radio network. And I'm thinking, whoa, wait. No, I'm scared out of my shiitake mushrooms. There's I have to get on live international radio and speak my truth. I didn't even know what that was. And so why, audience, am I having this conversation with you? It's because I walked across the bridge of fear and had massive initiations, both personal, professional, spiritual, all of it. It's just been incredible. And the biggest words that come up for me is courage, brave, resilience. And I actually looked them up on the dictionary. I asked Surrey actually to look them up for me.
She's there when you need her too.
I know. Resilience is the capacity to understand and recover quickly, or withstand and to recover quickly. And more or less, basically spring back as fast as you can. Now, and I don't say that I spring back as fast as you can. You've got to take the time to feel into everything that's going on, and to feel into the change and the traumas and the fears and the doubts. And it's the resilience and the bravery and the courage and the will to keep moving forward, even through that adversity. Adversity, air quotes, And I hope my language and my communication, and through the years and even now, that there is a squeaky wheel in the audience and the people that have listened to us, that they know that they have the tools. They know that they can reach out and find the tools that they need and surround themselves with people that believe in them. I think it's so important.
Well said. Was it Shauna? Yeah. Was it Shauna Home? Was that one of the other hosts?
Yes, Shauna. She's in New York now.
Is that where she? Okay, that one popped in too.
She's doing some big work in New York. Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think it's East Coast. I'm not sure if it's New York. Yeah, Shauna Home, Debbie Whitlock. And the holistic doctor. and then she went off to get her own show.
I'm like, there's so many of them here
I
too.
know, but it's been such an incredible bouncing off place. It's such an incredible,
Well, that's what
yeah,
was really nice about your show in the beginning, and then it proceeded into this network affiliation that other hosts have actually adopted here as well. They've branded out from that, like Dr. Pat. She started out as a single individual host, and now under her Transformation Talk Radio umbrella, she's launched other hosts, and they've also spawned out from other their shows, and the wisdom that she gives or they give everybody
oh,
else.
yes, the
Mm-hmm.
ripple effect. I
Yeah.
remember, yeah, and also reaching out to Dr. Pat. Bless you, Dr. Pat. Going, what am I doing? Because she had been doing it, she was one of the pioneers here
She was one of the
on,
original hosts. Yes. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And I went to a couple of her
Mm-hmm.
workshops and just talked to her, and she was just amazing. It was incredible. And I know with the I'm Thankful Network, it was a whole network of incredible people. And then I anchored the 2 days. And then I believe it's because of Dr. Pat, she had put my name in the hat with CBS Radio over
Oh
on the
yes.
East Coast.
Yep.
And so within a few months, CBS was picking me up.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that that was pretty cool. So that, it was kind of a testimonial to the product. No, what's the word?
The vision.
The vision, the education.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to talk to people about choices, choices versus victimhood. And my show, it has always been my intention with the radio show and anything that I do, it's been a learning curve for me too. And these people that have come on my radio show, it's the quote or the sentence that comes to mind is, you teach most what you need to learn. And there's been spirituality, there's been conversations with and regarding narcissistic relationships or people pleasing or overcoming abandonment or overcoming anxiety, all these tools. And it goes, obviously you've got to have your best friend in your own head and your own heart, right? And it's all about providing the tips and tools to not only help myself, but to also, again, like I said, be that squeaky wheel. And if something, and you've heard me say this before, if you've heard me or my guests and something really kind of put a thorn in your bum, there's something in there that says you've got to look at that.
Yeah.
Right. There's so many things that I've learned and taken from the radio show. What do you have anybody? I mean, you've got thousands of shows and thousands of hours.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know that I know I get so many comments and compliments about you and me and our banter.
Oh.
It's one of the favorite things, with me laughing and my disco and getting jiggy with it. And you're going to have to bring getting jiggy with it.
I happen to have it queued up, so I'm already ahead of the game. So, because I know you.
Yes. Do you have any like memories or favorite little bits that you want to share?
I mean, we've had so many great times together. I know in the very beginning, we were just creatively working back and forth and sending a lot of images out and vision for those about, the spiritual lifestyle here at Alternative Talk, 1150 a.m. And how you helped you and another couple hosts really locked into that as more than just an entertainment thing. I mean, there was just me from just running around in my Superman outfit. You called me that before. Yeah. So like it was silly, but I did it. And it's just, that's what makes radio and the whole world of entertainment fun.
Yes.
We've met a lot of great spiritual people, Dr. Joe, you mentioned earlier, which we played his show. You did like a solo show with him, and we've repeated that show multiple times because it had such good information. From the length that we've done this show together. Honestly, there's so many. I would have to go back and find a couple. I mean, even though it's a short term from like this last year to like in the last couple of weeks, we've actually encored some shows from the previous years.
Yes.
That brought up, we've had Nadine LaGreca, who was on many times.
I reached out to her to see if she could, like, I know.
Who's one of our favorite psychics, and just a whole host of other people that have just brought amazement to you and your show and the station.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
Mm-hmm.
I was again, and thank you, Benny, because
Yeah.
you have been, and I remember at the beginning, you're just like, Sue, just be yourself. Just be yourself. Don't be anybody else. Just be yourself.
Yeah, that's the true nature of anything. I mean,
And yeah, but that's speaking my truth. What if they don't like me? It's stepping out in that platform, and it's a really great conversation and analogy for life, right? And
yeah.
it's everything that has been taught
Mm-hmm.
within the midst of spirituality and what alternative talk provides
Yeah.
with the Pacific Northwest and now internationally. It's
Mm-hmm.
just incredible. And to have a spiritual practice is so important.
Well, yeah, being true to
Oh,
yourself and loving oneself is definitely the first step and part of it. And you establish that right off the bat. And I remember even the beginning for me in this business, like, I tried different like thoughts or ideas on how I had to act, but I didn't have to act. I didn't have to act. I'm just me now, and that's how I should be on the air. And it's a different world
yes.
because also, you're hearing yourself and you're like, whoa, that's intimidating. But you're like, you hear yourself every day. I mean, that's so true.
I
You
know
see
I
your
go back and I listen to my laugh and my
right. I know, right?
cackle, and I'm like, oh.
So what? It's there. It's unique. It's your signature. It's the way it is. And all of the other
Yes.
hosts know, like, nope, that's Sue. She's coming down the hall or whatever. I mean, that's
Oh,
just
I know. I
it's
was at a coffee shop, Soul Food in Redmond, years ago, and I was at the counter getting my coffee, and I was laughing, and a lady comes up to me and she's like, "Wait a minute, are you Sue from blah blah blah?" And I'm like, and from my laugh, from my
yeah.
cackle,
Yeah.
yeah,
It makes
and
you
that's
feel
awesome.
good too. And
It
them
does.
knowing that they remember and, pushing forward that way. It's cool.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk also, and I wasn't going to make this public knowledge until after I got the results. So a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I had a little bit of a cancer scare.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Arizona for those of you who didn't know that already, and I had found, and it's awareness, right? I found a lump in my breast, and I went in, and it's a pretty big lump. And I wasn't that concerned, quite honestly. I thought it was maybe just a clogged duct from 3 babies and breastfeeding. And again, the spirituality and that practice and not going into the energy of fear and reaching out to my soul tribe, knowing that their energy was pure, knowing that I could trust that the energy that they were going to put in my body, in meditations was going to be of love and healing, and it wasn't going to be of fear. But I went in last week. I got a biopsy in my breast and my armpit, and it came back benign. So it's very, very relieving. There was times, and I speak to this because there is that practice in play that I already had of just faith in believing that it will all be okay. Everything happens for a reason. I do still have my own destiny. I still have control over my own life, and this isn't what I was going to have. I was just wasn't going to happen. So, breast awareness, cancer awareness, all of that, and I'm super grateful that it came back benign.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be even somebody who is in the practice. Still, I had some anxiety and some tears and some oh shiitake what ifs, right? But everything's good now, so that makes me feel really, really relieved.
Sure. And for me, I mean, well, you're adopted as well. So,
Yes.
and I am. So, probably a little more about your health, just knowing your parents. I don't know Jack, really. I don't know anybody, like anything.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of up to the like, sure, whatever kind of comes my way, comes my way. I'm kind of open to it and then I'll deal with it then. Other people would like to have a little more heads up, I guess. But yeah, that's just
Yeah.
living the
I
life.
thought I know, I thought about that too, because the whole adoption thing and
Mm-hmm.
and it really came to a head when I was at the doctor's, getting the exams and
Mm-hmm.
the ultrasounds and the darn biopsies and taking chunks of my tissues.
Yep.
And even in the preliminary, you have to fill out paperwork about your mom, your dad. And I'm still mourning the death of my mom. And I was just like, oh, and I speak to this for people that are going through it, have gone through it, so that they understand, they have compassion for it. And it really hurt my heart that I didn't have an emergency contact to put down. I didn't have my mom, my dad, and even being adopted. And I was blessed. That was another thing I wanted to reminisce about when I first started. You know, I was the author, but then within these 15 years, well, I had already met my biological father, but then I met my biological mother in 2003, the same day my third daughter was born. I am her third daughter. There was just so many serendipitous, beautiful things that had happened. Unfortunately, we lost her a few months later, 8 months later or something like that. But that was a whole nother, we were talking, Benny, and we were talking about the adoption. Mm-hmm. But I still don't know a lot about my health. I still don't. And I want to, it'd be interesting to get the genome tests and get somebody to do my biology. Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting.
Or genealogy.
Or genial. Yeah, I did the 23andMe and the other one. There's 23andMe and
say Ancestry.
Yeah, Ancestry. Yeah. And I know basically, you know, that I did both of those to make sure that they matched, and they both came back the same.
Right.
But it doesn't tell me about health. It doesn't tell me about heart attacks or cancers or blood, you know, that stuff. It doesn't say anything.
Yeah, it doesn't get into the actual, the biomechanics of oneself. But then it sets up a stage for where, you know, you can talk to or meet other like-minded family members or people that are related to you, that you can kind of get a little more information from them. So I think obviously it's a compilation. It's just compiling because the boy's mom and I, we've both done the whole, you know, ancestry thing, and we have a little bit of information, but it's not much, because it also takes the other people on the other side of the families to then input their information as well, if so, to be curious. So
yes,
it may take some time, or, you know, other than me, it's going to have to take a court order for the state of Alaska for me to jump in to get any information about my birth mom. Yeah, so that's the only other angle I have, and at this point, it would take a while too, because it's not.
Is there something? Yeah, is there something to be said? Because I thought about that, not knowing in my gene pool, not knowing if we have arthritis, not knowing if we have heart disease, not knowing if we have cancer. Is it naive of me to think, okay, well, then I'm going to create my own self, right? Because I don't have the messaging of what my DNA or what my family had. I can make my own destiny. And I don't want that to seem naive. It's just a thought process and a way I choose to believe. Now, I'm not saying I'm not going to get my breast exams. I'm not saying I'm not going to do my due diligence, but I'm also going to create my life, right?
Yeah, no, I think you're setting a good stance and opportunity for yourself and for everyone around. You know, be proactive and get tested on anything and everything.
Yeah, yes.
I mean, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and also for my daughters too.
Yes, it'd most definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got all of it from their dad's side, you know, all the information, and which is super cool.
And I'm sure they're very aware of jumping on early for the testings and so forth for the girls and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's been a crazy journey, Mr. Benny. It's been, yeah. I mean, 3 kids. I'm a great aunt, at least 6, 7, 8, 9. Or no, wait. I'm an Auntie Sue to 6, 7, 8. I'm a great aunt to 2. So I met my biological mom and my biological dad, and my biological mom had an older brother and older sister, and then I was the third, and then my baby brother, and he has 3 kids, and his oldest daughter has 2 daughters, and so it makes me a great aunt. It was incredible to have that journey. And what, I have a baby brother, I have an older brother. You know, it's been incredible to witness, and to be able to be, you know, coming from the adoption side, to be able to be reunited and have it be a positive impact, a positive thing that has happened. And I think all of that, I know from the whole abandonment, you know, mommy issues, daddy issues from when I was so young, or abuses or whatever was happening. I think that really drove me to find truth within myself, truth in new thoughts, new beliefs, new actions within my own psyche, my spirituality, and how that's defined for me. And I brought the network and the radio show to showcase and provide all of us those tips and tools. Because why not? Why not lean into something we don't understand to have a greater wisdom down the road, right?
Yeah. And share them. Gotta share.
And share them, you know, take what resonates and leave the rest, but always go back to it. And because that book, you know, it's the book. There's so many books that I have, and I go back to them. I'm like, I've read this 3 times, or my Audible.
Yeah.
And I'm just hearing that now.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of a trip when you reread authors' books from those that we have interviewed here and sent on great messages for those outside of the station. I know I've gained a new outlook and aspect on viewing life, I think, since the...
I bet you witnessed so much.
I mean, for the last 20 years, yeah, I've seen a lot of things coming and going out of these radio stations, you know, and there, of course, there's 4 others here in the group, but... you know, from artists to, you know, musicians to comedians to, you know, spiritual entities. I mean, we've had people that have read spirits in the studio that have, you know, it's been a wild world here. If these
and what
walls
a great
could,
opportunity.
if these walls could talk, right? I mean, so many, but great opportunities, and I'm glad I could be, you know, sharing it with you all of these years too.
Oh, thank you. Well, with that, hey guys, if you want to call in, I'll probably pull a card. You're welcome to call in, say hello, say goodbyes if you want to do that. We again, to all of you, this is the last show as of now for myself. If you want to call in, you can 1-888-298-5569. Again, that's 1-888-298-5569. Local phone number 425-373-5527. Please give Benny a minute to answer the phone, and we're just going to share the love and talk and say our goodbye. So with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. Yes, getting jiggy with it.
I knew you'd like that. It's funny.
Oh, I want it all the way through. Oh, I love it. I can remember you're just like, really, Sue? Do you got anything new? I'm like, no, but it makes me giggle. I love it. Thank you, Will Smith.
Yeah. He's still doing okay with that one.
Yes. Wonder how Will and Jada are all doing. I don't watch the news or anything, but I see bits and pieces. Maybe you tapped in more.
Their life, you mean?
Yeah, are they?
I mean, supposedly they're not together anymore, but they're like making it work. I don't know. I haven't really like delved into their world since
personal life. Yeah.
Well, since he did his like, you know, slap around the world when he hit, you know, Chris Rock. Do you hear what? You know,
yeah, I remember that.
It's
I don't
still
know
in people's minds, and people remember that stuff. So although now I guess he's I Am Legend 2 is supposed to be like starting to
come out.
No, they're gonna start filming it.
Oh,
so
okay.
That might launch him back into the good graces of the public again. He had a lot of stuff going on in his life. I think he just snapped. I'm sorry.
I am not privy to what all that was. I heard it happened, and then you would see it on the Instagrams and all the stuff.
Yeah, there was an award show, and Chris Rock was hosting, and he said some stuff about Jada, about, you know, her look and G.I. Jane 2, some comment, and then Will spoke up in the middle of the live show and was like, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. And then it just went on from there. And then he ended up getting up and going on stage and slapping him during the whole show. And then, it was wild. Like, and so, you know, he hasn't really been heard from much since.
It was
you know, there was an apology, and Chris Rock has already come out with his own, a comedian or a stand-up show about it, which it was kind of taking point, but it's the biz.
It's the biz. I'm let's show up in grace and kindness. Let's do that instead.
Yeah. Let's people move on.
Yeah. Well, to those that are joining us on
Yeah.
YouTube, thank you very much. I know it seemed a little bit stagnant there for a minute, but we are waiting to get back on live radio. And we are doing basically the Farewell for Now show. I mean, I've been doing this for over 15 years, give or take. And today is just kind of a memory lane and to remind us that we all have the possibility of change within ourselves.
And we got to come back soon. You ready?
Okay.
All right.
Big Willie Styles all in it, getting jiggy with it.
Yes, Benny, getting jiggy with it. Oh, see, you even laugh. Are you laughing at me?
Well, I mean, if those heard us on Off the Air, which is still, live on the YouTube and so forth, and our banter and all that, like, yeah, I still kind of like, it was great in the 2000s and all that, but it brings good memories for you, so that's all I'm going to hold for you.
Oh.
I admit I did like the song. I just don't play it as much as I used to, but there's some good memories attached to it, so.
Oh, it just, you know what? Why not? If it makes you feel silly, it just gets me giddy.
Yeah, that's
jiggy
fine.
with it.
There you
It's
go.
Yeah. So I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. It's just got a fun vibe.
I think it's just the word jiggy when you say it. It's like, the association is what? And you're like, I don't care. Just say jiggy. Like
getting jiggy with it.
Yeah.
For those on Radio World, I'm kind of bobbing my head
exactly.
and dancing around. And oh, that reminded me of. Do you remember back in the day? I think it was when I had the I'm Thankful Radio Network, and we were doing a ton of promotions, and there was another gal. She sent me the easy button. Do you remember that? She sent. I think I got one. There was one for you and one for me.
It was here for a while too, and then it stopped working. But I'm
trying to remember. Yeah, the easy button. That was so brilliant. I've had some incredible guests that have come on and.
Well, it was a good memory for her, and to be like, oh, don't forget me, and then she brought the button in, and it's like, oh, to pick me for anything, bink.
I love it. Yeah, easy button.
It's good for job interviews too. I heard people have done that before.
Really?
Like you take it into a job interview, and you're like, here, this is your opportunity to, hire me. Click that.
Oh, that is clever.
Yeah, that's expensive though. If you got to take one of those around everywhere you go and drop it off,
clever.
That can add up.
That is clever. That is really
on top
clever.
of your resume.
Jeez. Well, should we, is KKNW, do they have spots open for other people to come on providing, how is that working now?
We have some availabilities. And if you'd like to, join the station and or even have your own podcast here, you could do that as well. You can give us a call at 653 1150 is the number. It's the number for our direct sales line. So it's 425-653-1150. And you too could have your own show right here on the air in Seattle, the Seattle market. And of course, because of all the platforms, it's YouTube and all the other international areas. And and then once you're done, you just package it all up, send it out, and you can do whatever you want with it.
It's incredible. It's been, and I've looked around in other places in the United States too. And you guys are it. I mean, you offer, there's nothing else as far as, you would know more than I, but there's no other place that you can, as an entrepreneur, somebody within the alternative and really want to make a difference, to have your own live radio show. And that was a whole nother journey because, all these people have got podcasts. I'm like, no, this is live. So no swearing. We got to watch what we're talking. We have FCC rules. And then it goes over to the podcast world.
It's like it's kind of like you're double dipping a little bit. You get, instant, instant listenership and professional, studio personalities and work production, all of that. You come into a giant studio, you get to see other stations, see how everyone else does their thing. And then, at the end of the day, you do real radio. It's terrestrial radio. And you can.
And what's it's over 60,000 in the Pacific Northwest, but globally, internationally, we just don't have a monitor for that. But it's internationally YouTube and over 60,000 listenership just in the Pacific Northwest area, and that goes from Canada down to what was it? Past Olympia, didn't it?
Yeah, our signal reaches down to like Centralia, Chehalis, like kind of graces down there in Shelton, and
Yeah.
but that's about as far as our signal can reach via the airwaves. But on the internet, you can pick us up in Greece and go wherever.
It's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
because we're streaming.
I know that to be true intimately because I've
Mm-hmm.
got people in Canada and
Yeah.
Italy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've heard from Greece yet, but Ibiza. I've got Ibiza, Greece, the UK, oh, Mexico, of course, all over the United States. We have a huge following in Canada too because of all the work that we did with
Mm-hmm.
Nadine LaGreca and
Yes.
Carmel Joy Baird and
Mm-hmm.
really tapping into the intuition and pulling the cards and helping people. That was something that was so special because I love that. I love the energy work. I love tapping in, pulling cards, and Nadine and I coming on and being able to bounce off of each other because I've got one foot kind of in the spiritual world because I have to be more seated and running the radio show. So it's nice to have her on here. And it was so cool. I would pull a card and I'd keep it hidden, and then the guests would come through, and that card totally and completely aligned with every single guest. There's so much to be said for really just, I say leap of faith, but just trusting in faith, trusting in that source. You've heard me call it Gus, God, universe, source, spirit,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is that you want to call it, or purple chopsticks, if that's what you want. If it's purple chopsticks, then please, if it's going to provide you and help you to be a better person internally and then externally, do it. Do it. Are you looking something up?
I was looking up Nadine's information if we had a website for her, but I would just type in Nadine LaGreca, 3 separate entities there, Nadine LA space, and LaGreca,
Yeah.
Greca, and you'll find her. She's an evidential medium.
Yes, she's beautiful.
Does her
And
thing.
then also Carmel Joy Baird, she's also
Mm-hmm.
pretty incredible, but I don't know if she's accepting new clients. She had quite a bit of clientele and then she took some time off, but she's another great resource. Sonia Choquette, she's been on the show. She's amazing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Ainsley McLeod, of course, Shirley MacLaine. I know I said that at the top of the hour. Oh gosh, there's been so many great, even the mom and pops, the people coming in, like when I first came in, being an author for the first time and just showcasing another way of overcoming oneself. It's just amazing to see all these entrepreneurs and people coming and speaking their truth.
Mm-hmm.
And like Brene Brown says, standing in the rink and getting dirty. Brene Brown, that would have been another great. I asked twice and then she got her own radio show and I'm like, oh, doggone it. But I did get there. I did get in there. Yeah.
But she could have interviewed you.
Yes.
She could have just spun it around.
If she wants to.
That's all you got to do. You got to spin it the other way around.
Hey, you know what? It's all about shifting gears and changing the energy. Death comes in so many forms.
Mm-hmm.
It could be death of an old self, which is a good thing. Death of a toxic relationship was a good thing, but still, it's that death of the old self, the old belief system, all of that. So you now have space energetically in your heart, in your psyche, in your mind, in your world to provide something bigger, better, and greater. And that's what I'm looking at right now. I've done so many leaps of faith and scared beyond and still doing it anyways. That when I moved to Bend, after the divorce, Source said, you're moving to Bend, Oregon. I'm like, what? What do you mean moving to Bend? Where I've spent over 40 years in the Pacific Northwest, raising community, raising my family, doing all that. If that's where you want me to go, you have got to give me so many signs that I cannot deny. It was like the commercial, the Jinsu knives. It just kept coming and coming. It just crazy. Did I just knock the ear thing? I'm talking with my hands.
I think you meant Ginsu. Was it Ginsu?
Ginsu. What did I say?
Jinsu. Same thing, I guess.
Same thing.
Well, it's only because it was like, you buy one, but wait, there's more. That was
yes. Yeah, so much more, and it amazes me when I started this self-discovery and self-love journey, and really standing in my life and my lifestyle of awareness to what's happening around me, awareness to how I'm showing up, and the awareness of all the healing and trauma that I had to overcome, right? Because the scared little girl or the anxiety, all the stuff we have accumulated in this 3D world, and choosing then to say, yeah, no, this isn't working for me, and taking again that leap of faith. And yes, I take a leap of faith, but I'm also pretty deep seated in practicality and truth and all of that. I'm like, and spirituality and the there's no real practicality to it in the normal language sense. However, that's where faith comes in. You've got to take that leap of faith. And I have done that a few times, many times, and it has always worked out for my better good. Always. It's just getting the Sprinter van and traveling all of Western United States by myself with the doggy, and never having a Sprinter van and a trailer and parking it and camping. And I mean, I camped when I was a little girl in a tent, but here I am in a diesel RV, I mean, it's been an incredible ride. I'm like, really? Okay, first I moved to Bend. Now you want me to rent my house out and travel the US, because I was going to do this whole thing. And I did it. And now I've got this rental property in Bend, and now I'm in Arizona, and I have another property, and it's renting. It's just, I'm like, and it was all guided by source. I said, listen, if this is where you want me to be, if I'm supposed to be here, it will happen.
Yeah.
And I just surrendered. We've talked about surrender as well. And you just got to surrender into the faith and the knowing. And I really hope and intend that this conversation, even though it's the farewell conversation, that you guys are getting tidbits of this and really understanding, following your true guidance and figuring out who you really are, and having that be okay is the big why in the message. Never ever letting anybody else determine who you are and how you're going to show up. Be loving and kind, and you can be whoever you want, right?
Yeah.
You can be shapes, colors. I think Pink said it best. She said something. I can't remember exactly the words, but she's like, I love everybody. Just don't be a beep beep, be kind and loving, and yeah, just don't be a jerkapoo. Be kind and loving. That's a Suism, a jerkapoo.
We'll work with that one, sure.
Work with that. Yes.
That's great.
And to really being resilient and letting go to provide that space for more to come in to your life and its lifestyle, and just holding that faith. And when I was doing coaching and educations and all of that, you have to have a practice already in place. So when the shiitake does hit the fan, you have a practice similar to my breast cancer scare. I had a practice that I put in place. I have my soul tribe, the people that I trust, their energy. And we got together and we pulled together and we just filled it with love. And it's been a great outcome. And I say this to you as an example, so you can seek out and foster relationships that provide that for you. Not, and the contrast of that is somebody who's gossipy or gets all gossipy and driven into the trauma and the emotions of it, and that's sticky energy. To me, that's very sticky and negative. I don't want that. I want those people in my life where I say, hey, listen, I trust your energy. I'm having some moments here. Can you help me out, right? And build yourself back up, and having that tribe. And I've been blessed to have a soulful tribe. And it's been an interesting dynamic, because a product of adoption and not really ever feeling as though I had that solid foundation. And then I keep rebuilding. I am building my own community and family and my daughters. And it was vitally important for me to provide, the Christmases and the traditions and all that beautiful stuff. A lot of what my mom did when I was growing up as well, but also to really provide them with, of course, we had both had hoped forever, but that didn't happen. But we have beautiful children. And why am I rambling on about this? It's because no matter what life throws at you or the hurdles that come up, and that was something actually my mom always said, it's hurdles in life, just jump over them or bowl through them, just lean into it, go and learn from it instead of taking the victim mentality and going back to having your soul tribe and people that really support you and they don't get sucked into the drama of it.
Right.
Yeah, because that's the sticky energy. We don't want that.
No, it's not a good thing to keep around.
No, we want it.
Jumping back to, I know when you were out traveling around in your little Sprinter van and all that, what was really convenient and nice, and obviously the changing of times and how people can get, their podcasts and radio, shows on the air is because of the platforms that are available for people. And I felt like one of the first ones who actually took your show kind of on the road.
Yeah.
There were times where we had to find a pretty good signal. We kind of had to jump through some hoops.
We're doing old school phone today, Benny.
Yeah, sorry. Right. And you could definitely hear it, and people are like, "That's not right," but it still works. We get the message is still coming across. But I think it was a good memory and lesson for me too, working the board here and figuring all the engineering.
Even when I totally agree with you, and that's great for the entrepreneurs that are listening to the show as well. Even when I was out traveling as a volunteer with the whole Dr. Joe for 3 years, I was still on the road in Mexico, in the falls, and we did this whole, I've done radio shows all over the world. We did it in Cancun. We did it live.
That was fun.
Live from Cancun poolside.
Well, maybe for you.
Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls. I had a bunch of our team members and we did a radio show there to showcase what we were doing and to promote, of course, the work that Dr. Joe is doing as well. It's pretty amazing.
A lot of shows around water. Not fair. Yeah. Falls,
by water,
beaches, boats. I think you did a cruise or something in between there. I'm sure you did. I know you did. It seemed
there
like
was something.
Seemed like you did.
Huh?
Wasn't I thought you did it? Wasn't the Dr. Joe thing a cruise too? Or you promoted for? I wasn't
on a cruise with him. No.
Oh, okay. Maybe that was another host.
No, I didn't do any. Well, he may have, but I didn't do a cruise. But
we might have
Cancun, Mexico.
Okay.
Mallorca, Spain, Dubai.
Yeah. We could have promoted an event for him that he was doing on a cruise or something like that.
You could have. That's back in the day when he first started. Yeah, that's very possible. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Dubai, it's just crazy. In Canada, all of my Canadians, I've and being blessed to do the work with Dr. Joe and travel the world, helping people heal. I mean, come on. He's got an incredible formula, and how he's teaching and providing these tips and tools for people is pretty incredible. And I know that work, when I first saw him, that was probably over 20 years ago. And that evolution really changed my life, breaking the habit of being yourself and really meditation and really just becoming a better person, even through the traumas, right? And learning to heal that and release all those traumas. I've seen miraculous things with people when they can overcome themselves. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a walking talk that. I'm still doing it. I'm still walk the talk. I'm still learning, still growing.
But that's what we're supposed to do. That's why we're on this planet.
Yes, that is. Well, we're coming down to the last few minutes.
Yeah.
And deep gratitude, Mr. Benny. Deep gratitude to KKNW.
Back at you.
And Alternative Talk. And to all of my listeners, it is absolutely, I loved hearing from you. I still would love to hear from you if you wanted to send me. I get your DMs and I get your emails. And I want to say a big shout out to Mexico, to Arizona, to Canada, to the UK, to Ibiza, Spain, you guys, Portugal, all of you. I love you very much. And it's been an incredible ride. I'm still going to be bouncing back, and I'm still going to be learning. It's just opening another chapter in my life,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to be 55 next. Where's my happy birthday song, Benny?
Oh man.
Happy birthday. Where's my getting jiggy with it? Happy birthday.
Well, he didn't do a version of that.
Now this is where you say, no, you don't look 55, girl.
I can only do so many things at once. What are you talking about? Just rifling things off. I mean, that goes without saying. That goes without saying.
No. Oh, thank you. Yes.
Now I have to look for it.
No, you go ahead. So with all of that, you guys, it all started with me being an author, and it started with me jumping over the hurdle of speaking my truth. And it started with me taking a massive leap of faith because Source says this is what you're doing. And I have learned I've learned so much. I've learned so much from my guests. I've learned so much from the doing and the being and being in the inness of all of it. And it's really taught me so much about myself, and I'm still learning. It's evolution, self-confidence and self-love. It all starts with you, and you've got to have the courage, the will to step over that bridge. And instead of being a victim, really going in and going, all right, yeah, that's not working. I've got to change that.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's why I did the show, for myself and for all of you. So thank you to everybody for showing up. Thank you to everybody for the gifts, for the love, for the phone calls, for the readings, to all the PR companies that have contacted me. Thank you so much. I love you guys very much.
To the birthdays.
Go shorty, it's your birthday. We gonna party like it's your birthday. We gonna sip Bacardi.
Is that what you're looking for? I think that's what you're looking for. Okay, yeah.
That is it. Happy birthday. Oh, I love it. And my getting jiggy with it. Thank you so much, Benny.
Welcome.
I am very thankful. It's a new chapter. It's a completely new chapter, and I'm open to what the world has to offer. And it could be sitting in my backyard gardening, happy with chickens. I don't know. I'm so happy there too. Very happy listening to my getting jiggy with it and my
on
Levi.
A loop? If you listen to it on a loop, you might get a little bit like kind of tired of it. I'm just saying it's possible. It's possible. Unless
is possible.
Unless it's just a wild
But
song.
every time I hear it, I'm going to think of you and think of us, and I will hold deep love and appreciation and energy within that memory. So thank you very much. There's been a lot. Thank you.
Anytime.
Yes. Do you want to give out the phone number for those that are listening, if they, as an entrepreneur, want to call in and see if they're the right fit?
Sure. We have open slots here, and you're welcome to call our sales team. It's 425-653-1150. 425-653-1150, or just hit us up online. It's 1150kknw.com. Super easy to find out, and we're here for you.
Yes, do. And Benny will take very good care of you. Well, a lot of the staff will take very good care of you.
Yeah.
Yes. So with that, you guys, keep shining. I love you. It's been an incredible ride, and it's farewell for now. It's, we're all still going to be connected. I'm still going to be watching, seeing how everything's going with you, Benny, and the boys. And I bless you and the family as well. And to all of you out there, thanks again for everything, for the listenership, for the love, for the resources, for the PR firms, all of you bringing me these beautiful authors. And it's been an incredible ride. I've learned so much, and I'm going to continue learning. I love you guys. And until we meet again, each of you are a gift. Get out there and share yourself with the world.